Hey there, fellow nerds. Welcome back to the Hot Nerd Network's YouTube channel. I'm your host, Hot Nerd Syd, and today I've got a fantastic episode in store with you. We're diving deep into the juicy drama of the second season of The Ultimatum on Netflix. As always, I've got my fellow hot nerd and good friend, Imani, with me. Say hi, Imani. That's right. So let's go ahead and jump right into today's recap. So, this was a really, really crazy set of episodes for me. I mean, for you, buddy, what were some of your initial impressions?
Well, wait for a hot second. Did not like register that this was only the second season. Like I didn't know they didn't count the queer season.
Yeah, I didn't think that either, but then every single time that I kept looking it up, that one was all like obviously called the ultimatum queer love, like
Oh, okay,
mhm.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah, sorry. I just didn't know. I didn't realize that. Did I? Okay. Sorry. Repeat the question again.
It's fine. No, I was asking like what were your initial impressions and reactions?
Okay. I thought this cast was a lot less attractive
Oh, snap.
than the first cast, which I and like this is like off the first episode. And so because of that, I'm thinking that they tried really, really hard to find like people that were not interested in being reality TV show stars.
That's fair. I guess like that's a I didn't even think about that. Like the fact that because in your eyes they're less attractive. They're not necessarily people who are like sitting in their headshots trying to like make it. They're really here because I mean none of them really gave vibes like they were trying to be famous at all. Now that you
Like
mention it,
think
it felt
about
very
season
authentic.
1. Think about the cast from season 1.
I mean, season one, and I should have probably pulled up those people, but season one, um, those people just, I feel like any first season, it's not going to give those vibes either because you don't know what you're getting into. I mean,
Fair.
even with the queer love season, Tiffany had put out some content like afterwards, and she was like, "We none of us really knew what was going on, and like we didn't even know that this was the ultimatum. We didn't know what the ultimatum was because I believe the second season of Queer Love was filmed actually either right after the first season or right before, and they
Oh.
hadn't even seen the first season until after they had filmed Queer Love. So all of this is ringing very like new vibes. If anything, this would be the season. Like they've seen the Ultimatum before. They could have like come with not so much pure intentions, which we'll talk about, but like mostly they all felt pretty like authentically themselves.
First season, wait, first season or second season?
Second season, like
No,
for better
yeah,
or for
I
worse.
agree. Like they were like this sounds so bad, but like regular people. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like sorry, I'm
yes,
thinking about Zay and what's her name? Like like literally he was an Instagram influencer. I'm also thinking about
really.
the
Oh
other black
yes,
couple. Yeah, like it was just very performative. Like and this season's like, oh no, like you guys are just normal people that think this is gonna work.
wow, their
Because they
thoughts.
also said that sorry, that was my first hot take, like, off of the first episode.
Yeah.
Second, I was also and this is something that I feel like kept coming up in this season, it's just, like, you have to like, this idea of, like, we have to tap into this experience, like, it's about the experience, the experience, the experience, like, we have to, like, dive deep in the experience, and, like, I also think this season they did a very good job of, like, trying to, like, show the balance between the girls the couple interactions, but also their interaction as friends, like the boys and the girls. I don't think they
Yes.
showed a lot of that last season. And this season they did, and like it gave you a lot of like context about how they actually were feeling. Because they were talking to like the girl group and the guy group. I don't know if that makes sense.
It definitely does. I feel the exact same. And I'm used to that on shows like Love is Blind or even Love Island
Yeah,
because that's a big part of the culture, but that definitely was missing. And it I felt like in this season it really played into the drama of things, obviously, as
yeah,
we'll talk about, but that helps because when you're checking back in, like you can present yourself in one way, um, to your couple and to your other couple, but when you're around friends, like that also is a big part of your personality too. And what you say to them and what you feel comfortable saying to them when you don't owe them really anything is pretty nuanced as well. I mean, even just like from the guys and the girls' perspective, there was just sometimes things that were being said that was like, "Oh, would you feel comfortable saying this in front of your partner?"
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I liked it. It made it a little messier.
It definitely did. So yeah, I mean, any other initial impressions or reactions before we start to get into what actually happened?
I think those were my big three. I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I think like you really covered the gamut for me. The only other big impression was just like I like this season so far. I mean, we're about to just get to the finale, really, but I did like this season. It was just that, I really wish that that couple,
What are
Lisa
they?
and Brian,
Yeah, from the beginning stayed in. Yeah,
yeah, I wish
that was
I
like
just
weird.
it was wild. We'll talk about it, but I just wish that they were there because I could feel that was missing. I feel like that's why they probably didn't even break out the batches as much as they did because it was like, all right, we don't have much content. Let's just like zoom through because like if you only have what four couples, what is there to they basically just swap with each other. There was still
Yeah,
a lot to talk about there, but I think that if Lisa and Brian were there or if they had five couples, this could have been a lot more content to eat through because
yeah,
at certain points in time it just felt like, when
yeah. I agree. Like we get it. Like
yeah,
you're just repeating the storyline again and again and again. It's like we get it.
over and over, like this was pretty straightforward with all the couples. It still was good. It was still drama. I still ate it up. It just, could have it was wrapped up very quickly, it could have been wrapped up even quicker. So that's my final hot take. We can definitely start to move into talking about just a quick recap of what actually happened in this season. So we first start off like we usually always do with meeting the five couples. And I always think this is just so interesting because they're on these couches and they're talking with each other and about each other and the why they aren't together. And it's like I always find, I don't know if you feel this way, Imani, that like when they're talking on these couches, sometimes like everything seems very nice, dandy, very wrapped up in a bow, but it's when they actually like get just by themselves with each other that like we start to see, oh, here are like the cracks,
Yeah, this is the problem.
yeah, no. So initial like off the bat, I was like really worried about like when it came couple to couple, I was like, okay, the people who are bringing the ultimatums, it's it's either like I'm either gonna be on your side or I'm not. And if we're talking specifically about Lisa and Brian, I was actually like kind of on her side at first too. I mean, she's a black woman. She's like, obviously kind of successful in her career. And she was just saying like, why hasn't he why hasn't he proposed? Sorry, I'm just thinking about me texting you that first
I
the
know.
first two episodes. The first two episodes were really, really, really wild.
I think
But I
that's what but that
yeah,
that I think that was a problem though.
yeah.
Like they should not have put all their eggs in the basket the first two episodes because by episode what it goes 8, 7 and 8, it was pretty lackluster. I'm not gonna lie.
The final climax was episode 6, and
Yeah,
that was it. Like after that, it was like okay, like I'm ready to get to the decisions because y'all aren't showing me much else.
literally
Um,
nothing.
yeah, we let's start with. what I was basically saying to you is like we start with them on the couches, we start with meeting them, we start with like understanding what their problem, like the couples, what their problems are in the relationship. And I'm, pausing here, like in your first initial reactions, if we were to go like couple by couple, like not, it's not even about whose side, but like were you, but yeah, in a sense, like whose side were you really on when it came to them either giving the ultimatum or not taking the ultimatum? I guess first starting with James and
Oh, I have
Ryan.
a hot take. I have a
Yeah,
hot
go
take.
ahead.
I am never on the side of the person giving the ultimatum.
Okay, tell us
And my
why.
reason for that is like I don't think you need to give somebody an ultimatum to get married. Like I think that's a time where you have to take a step back and like love yourself. Be like, okay, like if this person can make a laundry list of reasons of like why like they don't think that we should get married or we should be together, then it's like, okay, I think it's time to move on.
I mean, I would agree with you only up until the fact that it's like, all right, you've invested obviously time and effort into this relationship. Could there be some like other reason within that person that's like not having to do with the relationship itself, um, as to why they either will or will not get married? If it's you, then I agree with you, like you, Monty, like in the sense of you just need to move on. There's no reason for you to like do this back and forth. But if it's more so, like for example, I felt like Alex, I think that's his name. Yeah,
Who does he date?
he dates Kat.
Oh, that is so sad. That's so sad. They made me, oh my god, that really hurt. Like I feel so bad for that girl. Like sorry, that woman. Like I don't think like after this season, like she's gonna be down bad. Like I hope she has a therapist.
I think
Like
so. Yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, it might just be better to just go couple by couple as far as like what happened. So yeah, let's start off with Kat and Alex. Why do you say that? Like, why do you think that she needs therapy?
he doesn't, he hates her. He actually hates this woman.
I don't think he hates her. I just think
No, no, there is hatred in his heart for this woman. Like the way he looks at her like she's an idiot. And it was like weird. It was like I think first of all, I don't think he's physically attracted to her.
to Kat.
Yeah. I don't.
I mean,
I
who
don't.
did he
And I think
show
mhm,
physical attraction to though? Who did he show physical attraction to? Who did he show physical attraction to though? If not
I
her,
feel like he for a hot second he was going to with what's Big Lips?
Roxanne,
Roxanne.
not Big Lips,
Roxanne. Like I think you not like, she's giving like the
sultry, like yeah,
spicy white, like,
yeah,
hot
yeah,
mommy, and like he was with it, but like I think he just seems like an asshole. Like
yes.
and like I don't know why his parents empower him to feel like, oh yeah, like you need somebody to challenge you. No, you're just a rude nigga. Like you're rude. You're a
No,
rude person.
yes, no. He's genuinely. There was like a lack. I mean, it's like he tried to give self awareness, but there was a lack of like empathy. I will say with either. I mean, but I say, but see, okay, maybe empathy is the wrong word. The best way to describe it is that he genuinely just gives a lot of asshole vibes. And
Yeah,
he's not really looking for somebody to call him out on it, because I think that's a part of himself that he's very much okay with. It's either you're going to take it or leave it. And he's with Kat. It feels as if because she's a bit easy to walk over. Now,
exactly.
I think that it was good for her though to stand up for herself. I think that something like this, like the ultimatum, I do agree with her bringing him the ultimatum, because it's like, hey, we've been together. I obviously want to be with you. You obviously respect like you respect marriage. You have parents that have a successful marriage as well. What is it going to be? And I agreed with his like as we're going through the episodes, we find that they talk with their parents, and the father is like, I think you're analysis paralysis. I agree with his father. Like, I do think that he's there, but and so it's like I think I agree with Kat in the sense like it's like you either going to do it or not. You're not going to continue to like lead me on. But you can tell that I feel like a big part of why their relationship works is because she kind of goes along to get along, and she doesn't really push him. Like, and I'm not. She doesn't really push him. I don't think that Alex though needs somebody like a Roxanne that's going to be at his level of challenging. I do think that he works better with a softer personality, but he does genuinely lack a certain amount. It's interesting. I don't think it's respect in the same way that we'll talk about with Roxanne and Antonio, but I definitely don't think he holds her opinion to as high of a value as he holds his own. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't know. I think she treats Cat like a literally like a pet.
Yeah. It's
Like, and
yeah.
like the pet's always gonna be loyal to you, and the pet's really it's really nice to take like the pet out for walks, like they go on vacations to do all this stuff, but like like I don't know. Like I feel like as a person, like it's just like okay, well that's Cat. And also like you could tell Cat is a little timid a person. I feel like they 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 made it seem like she was like this useless like flower that like couldn't say a
Yeah.
I hated that narrative, but you can't tell. It's like she's just a softer, nice person. She's not
Yes.
like this like she can speak on her
Bombastic.
own. Like she's not like you know
Yes.
what I mean? It was like that was weird. But as as Alex, like because you realize that, then it's up to you, I feel like, to be her protector. Like you should
Yes.
be tapping in, not like trying to make sure she is protected from like I don't know, just as a partner. I don't know. I just think he did a really horrible job with that.
I completely agree. And but I did think that he was good in saying like Kat isn't necessarily not strong. She's just a silent strength. And I completely agreed with him on that. Like I was like, okay, he gets it that Kat is not this weak little wallflower
Yeah.
to your point. Because she's not. She there was key moments where she stood up for him herself, not only with Alex, but also with Antonio. She didn't do it as much. Well, she did actually with Roxanne later on, although that scene with where Roxanne was talking about like, oh yeah, if I wanted to do something with Alex physically, I could. He wants it. I could tell. And Kat was just standing there like smiling, like hee hee hee, ha ha ha,
Because
like did not know what to do. Like I was like,
it
Kat,
was fucking weird. I think Roxanne, can we go to them?
yeah, we can move on. We'll come back if need be. But Roxanne and Antonio, go ahead, express your thoughts.
What drugs are they sharing? And can I so it was just so interesting how like they both feed into their delusions. Like and
Delusion.
maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. Like maybe I need to be delusional with my partner because it was so weird. I have so many hot takes about Roxanne.
Oh,
I feel
I do too. Keep going, please.
like, as you know, we're entrepreneurs ourselves. We have our
Hmm.
careers. We own a company. I don't think that is my personality.
Hmm.
I think that like the way she just was like, yeah, look, I'm so ambitious and independent. And like, it was just like, girl, like, we get it. Whoa. What else do you bring to the table? You know what I mean? Like, how are you as a human? How are you as a friend? Like, I don't know, like this fixation of like, always like we're always working and we're always talking about business when like she swapped with like Alex. It was like I see maybe she started she's a her company, it's like boob tape, not boob
Oh, I
tape,
didn't
but
know that. I didn't even
nipple
know.
covers. It's like nipple colors, but like nipple covers, but in like a bunch of shades. So like kind of like
Oh,
cute. And it's like, yes, woman CEO, but like that should not just be it. Like what
right.
else are you? Um and like I think because she's making like woman CEO her personality, it's that's the reason why her relationship with I think anybody is not gonna work out.
No
Like, I
one.
don't think it's Antonio's fault.
No.
Um, but also until like I and the reason why I'm saying this is because clearly there's so much more to you, Roxanne, because you must have had patience to be with this man. I think he said it was 2 years when he was just high for 2
Hmm.
was it 2 years?
I think. Well, I
Like,
think.
not everybody could deal with that. So why aren't you sharing this part of you? You know what I mean?
No, she really didn't give her. Neither of them really gave each other that much credit as far as the why they had been together. They just only focused on the why not, or I
Yeah,
mean, Roxanne especially, but Antonio is seemingly had like rehearsed a lot of the things that talk about Roxanne. Like we'll talk about Roxanne. I'm gonna get to Roxanne in a second, but focusing on Antonio, I think the biggest major piece that I think about when it comes to Antonio is that he just sees Roxanne on such a high pedestal and him just so low.
yeah,
And that is just not ever going to lead to anything healthy in a relationship. Like, I get it that she's successful.
yeah,
Success is all about perspective, mind you.
yeah,
But like, it's just like there was just toxic um like words that he would say to himself that obviously has been said within their relationship, and
yeah,
like he would emulate to somebody like Kat, that it's like Kat even was like, you don't really give yourself enough credit for all of the little things that you do, like in the way that he really is romantic to Roxanne, and in a sense was to Kat. It sounded like he was there was still a boundary there, but like um the little things that he does outside of his career. And now it's not, I don't even know what Antonio does because it sounds like he's stable now, but it's like
he's
now
a
that
truck driver.
he's a truck driver.
Now he's a truck. Or they said a freight, right? Freight driver, that's a truck driver, right?
Don't know, but like it sounds like he has a stable source of income that he's contributing, to their relationship. So it's like, why are you still why are you still harping on this? I completely agree with you that like Roxanne gives very much girl boss behavior. To give the audience context, Imani and I are part of a business called Aurora Tights that
I've heard of
sells. Sorry, we founded
awesome.
a we founded a business. I don't even know how to speak girl boss language. We founded a business
That's what
that
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's like, like look how humbly you're like, we just have this little
we just do
company.
this little thing, it's off to the side over here. But no, we run a business, a hosiery business that we've done for 5 years now. Please look us up at Aurora Tight to see all of it. But I completely agree with you, Imani, that like it's not like a big part of your personality, and like and a big part of mine. Another piece that I think of too is just like working for great companies, like working for a tech company, for example, like that. I see the same thing happening there too, like where people will make that of like their personality as
Yeah,
well. And like when you start to attribute your personal value, like that was one of the key things like a mentor had told me when I first started working at Meta. Like they had told me, don't make this job or really anything that you're putting your time and effort to like that's your value. You have value inherently as a person, and so does everybody else until they do something, of course, unkind or really effed up. But it's like this is not like you should never really be holding this over somebody else because guess what, chick? That could be taken from you in a second.
exactly. Exactly.
And then
But I
what are
think
you left with? Yeah.
I know, I think that's why Antonio thinks so poorly of himself though, it's because that's all she's like she's probably just like force feeding that down his throat, like, I'm so amazing and like, ugh, I can't talk to you about business. Like I just want to talk about business, like business. Like, girl, what the hell? And like just hearing the little things that Antonio did, like, first of all, I think his date was probably the most thoughtful of the picnic. What was the
Yes.
other white guy's name?
Um, I always want to call him Johnny, but his name is James. There we
Jay
go.
okay, there you go. Like, the pool date was, like, cute but a little creepy, so I liked Antonio's date. I thought him when Antonio, like, dramatically, like, ran to Roxanne to talk to her, ate that up, love that. Hearing that, like, Antonio, like, puts on, like, alarms to, like, I guess, call Roxanne when she's, like, driving home late, ate that up. Yes, yes, brownie points. Like that's what I want in my partner. So like, bro, you're doing great. Yeah, it's kind of strange that you were high for 2 years, but
You went through
also
life.
he's younger. Is he
He
younger?
is younger. I've realized that with him, and we'll move on to them too, because there's a lot more I have to say about
Ooh,
Roxanne, but I
ooh.
feel like
About what's his name? Trey and what's the
Trey
girl's
and
name?
Raya.
Oh
Let's
my
start to talk
god,
about that. Let's get into that because she's also young, and I felt
he's
like
a
there was similar.
baby.
And you know what? It wasn't until another host, Hot Nerd April, had told me the other day. I didn't realize that there was such a big age gap between Raya and Trey. What was it's like four 4 years?
Yeah, she's
Like
24 and he's 29, which don't get 4 years is not huge. It's
no,
more of like where it's like it's not like she's 40 and he's 45. No, 24 is such a huge year in your life. What?
it's just like it made me realize because first I was like Raya, like, what's going on, girl? I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was like, Raya, what? Why are you fighting so hard against this? If you don't want, like, why are you in this if you really don't want to be? But then when I realized when they met, so she's now 25. When they recorded this, she was 24. They met then when she was freaking 22,
Yeah,
and I'm
absolutely not.
like.
Absolutely not.
I'm like, bro, like you can't expect somebody. I mean, unless you're college sweethearts, or even
Yeah.
then, it's like it's normal for that time period for you to like want to go and explore.
And the fact that she
Honestly,
hasn't. She like lives in the middle of nowhere with him, like they live far from Atlanta because you know how Georgia's.
yes,
So it's like, girl, like literally, and they live together after a year of dating. Like, it's just clearly Trey is ready. Clearly, he's ready to sit down and have kids, but he's
yeah,
been ready since like he was 27. I have so many. Uh, you know,
yeah,
Trey just like Carl. Trey is Carl. Oh my god! And there's like, hey audience, there. I think it's a phenomenon of like men what at a certain like there's some men, I'm sorry, my words are scrambled. There are some men that are so fixated with the image that
yes,
anybody that is a part of it, it does not matter. They like it doesn't matter. Like in their head, they have this picture and they will do anything and everything to get there. And it even can mess up their own well-being, but they
yes,
don't care to this picture. And Trey is one of those. Like he
yes.
literally was willing to live by himself and like buy the house for their kids while she lives in Atlanta. What?
It is so strange. Just even myself coming from a relationship where a big chunk of it was long distance, neither of us wanted that. Like if anything, it was going to make us break up. Like who would like actively choose that or work towards that? Like if anything, we were working towards being in the same place at the same time. Like it just was so backwards to me.
You're
And
so backwards.
you're so right, like in the sense of there being like this phenomenon of men where it's like you can switch out whoever
It
it
doesn't
is,
matter.
like
It literally does not matter who's he literally was going to. What's the girl's name? Ryan?
Ryan.
He was ready. Like
He was right. So let's go ahead and move on to Ryan and James because who buddy, this was like one of those couples where I was like, I can't tell who I wanted to walk away the most. Maybe Roxanne and Antonio, but they were kind of like right there as well, James and Ryan, because I don't know. So Ryan, I feel like is just, and I won't even say I don't mean cookie cutter in this sense in the wrong way. I just think that her life has been set up in a way where she is able to be so emotionally mature,
Yeah.
so very she in a sense she knows that she deserves a certain like life like that she wants, and I think that's why she even brought the ultimatum up to James, because it's like, listen, if you're not able to give it to me, then I'm going to have to find that on my own, because I have a
Yeah.
lot of love to give, and I want to give that in this sort of way, with a husband, with a family, and with it she has a beautiful community around her. I love the relationship she has with her boyfriend's girlfriend and everything of that nature, and she just has a very caring and open heart. But then you meet that with James, who, I get it, like, he has had some real trauma in his
Yeah.
life that he does not accept within himself. He kept on trying to place that on her. And it's like, no, you haven't accepted this within yourself. Like, Ryan does not seem like the type of person that wants you to bring your most pinned up self to her. But like,
Exactly.
James obviously holds back, obviously judges himself, thinks that he's holding holding it back in a way where he's not harming her. But girl, that whole 3 a.m. conversation, what were your thoughts on?
Like, what was that? Like, that was weird. It was so weird. I don't know. He just like it just I think everybody should be in therapy, but like he should have been signed up. Like
Ben?
and like I just shout out to Ryan because I feel like she has a lot of patience and she does see that like her partner like does have this trauma and she wants to care for it. But like I don't know, like it's like hard with James because it's not like it's like he acknowledges he has trauma and that's it.
Yeah,
Like I just been through so much. I've been through so much. It's like, okay, like what's next? You know what I mean? Like
it just
and
doesn't make
his
sense.
mom, I was like,
No, but like, that's so real. It's so funny because I know my mom has definitely said stuff like that about my brother. Basically, we're going back to the comment that James's mom made, where she was like, if I had been with a man for 7 years and he didn't propose to me, I would have been gone. And it's like, yes, like,
7 years,
that's
that's crazy.
it's crazy. I find it not as crazy just because they were high school sweethearts. They're pretty young
Oh yeah, yeah.
themselves. I think both of them are 24 years old, and that's even like a sign, even in itself. Like, maybe it's okay that you all take a year or two
I
to
agree.
go be off on your own, and then come back together and be like, hey, do I miss you? Like, do I
Yeah,
really want you? Like, I know I did that with my current boyfriend, and it's not, we were not in a 7 year relationship before that, but I know people have done that in the past too. Sometimes you come back, sometimes you don't. And
yeah. If
both
it's meant to be, it's meant to be, you know?
both are for the better. Even Ryan said that. She was like, if he did fall in love with Raya, maybe that's what was supposed to happen. If I
Yeah.
do fall in love with you, Trey, maybe that's what was supposed to happen. Like, I just want to honor. I loved her because she was like, I
Yeah,
just want to
she's
honor
great.
what I want,
She she was on her Zoom. Like she's just a great person that's like
Yes.
extremely mature for 24 as well.
She was very, and she was also picking up on those bad vibes between Roxanne and Kat too, because she was looking at Kat like, I don't like what this girl is saying about your man.
Mhm.
But either way, she was just like, the line she said that really got me was, I just want to continue to honor myself in what I
Yeah.
want, and it's like, that's what you need to be bringing, especially at this stage before marriage, at any
Mhm.
point in your relationship. Is this what you want? Because having to pop back over to Roxanne, girl, I have so many notes on just Roxanne. This whole top page is just Roxanne, because
She's a mess.
I kept just writing here like, you keep complaining about Antonio,
Yeah.
but like, you obviously have chosen this. Like,
Yeah.
why are you blaming him? Nobody's holding a gun to your head. He doesn't have
Mhm.
you strapped down. I mean, yes, he's giving you an ultimatum, but it's because he either wants to get a yes, or he's going to walk away. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like anybody's holding you here. You're holding yourself here for some reason. I don't know if it's guilt. I don't know if it's just because this is familiar to you. But whatever it is, it's a choice. It's an
Yeah.
active choice, and it's a choice that you need to look yourself in the mirror in the day and be okay with, because you're not going to keep blaming this man and everybody else and their mother for why you don't want to get married or get married to him. Like, I don't know. It just was really, really, it was odd to me. But yeah. Uh, any last initial thoughts about any of the couples before we get to some of the big moments of the season?
No, let's dive deeper. Let's go to the big moments.
So, big moments wise, we can't move on without talking about Lisa and Brian in this first two episodes. This was the biggest moment, and
No, literally,
yeah,
Netflix, the way they tease this, like, honestly, you would have thought it was only them on the season by the trailers and stuff, which I'm really
girl,
confused about.
very, and that's why it was such a letdown after the second episode, when they weren't going to be there anymore. So yeah, just to give the audience what we're talking about, basically we had five couples to start out with. Lisa and Brian were a couple that were on there. We could tell that Lisa had brought him. Lisa's 32. She had brought
Yeah.
Brian 29. The ultimatum, because she was like, I'm on a biological clock. I have my life set up. I'm ready to have kids. I don't want to have kids outside of a marriage. So, what are we going to do? And they've been together for 2 years, by the way. So, she thinks that the proposal was the obvious next step. I said in the beginning, I thought that I was on Lisa's side, like, because I was like, why is Brian kind of dragging his feet? He seems like he's ready. What's the issue here when they were first on the couches?
Yeah.
But then as we keep going through, there were just different moments that would pop up where Brian, I could, what the feeling that I felt like was that Brian, he was like, okay, there are cameras here, so I don't want to embarrass you, but you know why there's reasons why I have hesitations about getting married, and it eventually comes into fruition, especially as we get to like the dates with the other couples, that
Yeah.
Lisa has some deep insecurity and control issues when it
Yeah.
comes to their relationship. Like, what were your thoughts as those feelings started to pop out from her?
It was like, I think she highlights another phenomenon that, like, that as Black women, or maybe it kinda goes back to the Roxanne thing, just because you have your career and you're successful does not mean you're a completely well-packaged person.
Thank you.
Like that, she just kept saying, like, "I already have the bag," and, like, "I have the career," and it's like, that babe, that's amazing, like, I think she's VP of clinical services for, like, some healthcare company. I don't, it wasn't a hospital, but something in the healthcare field. It's like, babe, that's great, but, like, what now when you look at yourself, you look at this episode, like, the way you should be embarrassed, like, how I have never, like, the way she was talking about Raya, oh my god,
Oh my gosh.
that
So
was
even
awful.
just to like give the audience what we're talking about, it's there was obviously an attraction
Yeah,
between
from the
Brian and
jump.
Raya from jump.
Yeah,
And I just have to say, like, when you're in a relationship, you don't suddenly go blind. Like,
uh,
you don't just suddenly not notice people. We are human, we are sexual beings, and just because you're sexually attracted to someone does not mean that y'all are the most compatible people in the world. You just like the energy they give off and like what they look like at that point in time. We don't know if Brian and Ryan would have worked. We got to talk about their one conversation about finances. That was so funny. We'll get to that. Either way, Lisa was so insecure about the fact that she could pick up on this initial
yeah.
attraction between Brian and Ryan, that she just started slamming Ryan. What were some of the things, like, what were some of the quotes that popped out to you that she said about her?
I think it was, like, making fun of her, like, being like, working at Hooters, like, Shorty's 24, you know what I mean? Like, that's like a, like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, why are you faulting her? I guess because she's comparing that she had, like, a master's. I don't remember, like, the things she said exactly, but, like, also, like, hitting, what's his name?
Oh my gosh.
Like,
When she
that, like, I girl, I don't care how drunk you are, to hit your partner, like, that means you've done it before.
No, she was so comfortable with it. She
Yeah,
was so comfortable. And we don't talk about that enough. Like, that physical abuse does go both ways. I know it's far and wide, men against women, but there's a lot of the times that we don't talk about. I've heard it from a lot of my male friends that it's like women just feel too comfortable putting their hands like
Yeah.
on men, like because it's like, okay, you know that you can't hit me back, but like I can do this to you. No, that goes both
No.
ways. That was super abusive. I was literally like, Brian, blink twice, blink
Yeah, like,
twice, and
that
he
was
needs to
but
come.
but
Like
you saw how he tried to keep composure because, like you said, like, he no, he was on TV, and
it
there's cameras
was
everywhere.
it was so uncomfortable. I felt bad. I felt so bad for Raya. Like whenever like she was interacting, I thought that she just had to go into her little shell just because like Lisa was just so abrasive to her. I hated like the quotes that stuck out to me were things like when she was like, "Oh, you need to not be so like looks are only going to get you so far. Like you need
Oh,
to be
yeah.
so stop being so concerned with what you could get from her, like in between her legs, and be more concerned
Yeah, I was
about
like,
like
"Girl, what?" Like, oh my
you got
it
a
was just
6 figure check.
embarrassing.
It was so, but you're so right. This is a phenomenon of that strong black woman
Yeah,
type that is like a subsection of the girl boss archetype. Although girl
yeah,
boss is really specifically entrepreneurial, she's very much a corporate girly where it's like I'm strong, I'm black, and I don't need to worry about just my looks. I'm still a bad bitch, but like I'm really just focused on my career, and what that brings.
yeah,
And it's like, what about your emotional maturity
yeah,
and how it's contributing to your relationship? Because I get it. Brian is probably not as successful as you. That's
mhm.
probably
He's
what
a he's a financial analyst. Am I crazy?
I'm
I think he's a financial analyst.
you're making the point where it's
Yeah,
like maybe you make more than because everything is in successes in the eyes of the beholder, in my opinion.
yeah,
But like y'all aren't in that's not what's holding your relationship back
exactly.
is the this financial stability of you all. I could get if we're putting Lisa to the side. Brian was saying like, oh, I wanted to have more, I want to have more, like to be able to give to you when it comes to a marriage, when it comes to like a home and a baby. And that's why I was on Lisa's side at first, because it was like I think sometimes with black men and men in general, I felt the same way about Alex, that they feel like they need to have all these
The
things
shit
lined up
together. Yeah,
before
yeah,
marriage. And it's like, a lot of this stuff might be a lot easier together. She said that actually. Like a lot of stuff might be a lot easier together than alone. Like she was like, if we were to just get a home together, we probably like for example pre-qualify for a way bigger amount because we're
yeah.
able to combine our salaries versus you just feel like you have to get on your own. So it's like I got her in that sense. And like I felt like that was something that if Brian was able to have his own journey, he would eventually get to that stage where he's like, okay, I don't need to have $1 million to get married or to have a child. But that was not what was really the biggest issue in the relationship. The biggest issue to me was her insecurity. And it even came out in her talks with Trey. Trey was like, oh my gosh, shout out to Hotter April for also bringing this up in a previous conversation I had. She reminded me that remember when Trey and Lisa had been together, and Lisa was like, "Yeah, I used to play basketball. I'm not really a girly girl. Like, yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
get down with the guys. Like, I hate when women like it just gives me such pick me
I know,
energy."
literally, like you're trying to make yourself seem like low maintenance and like, yeah, like I'm a like ju
Down to earth.
like yeah, like why? Because you think that's more attractive? Like,
That you're not
and it's
into
crazy
makeup.
that
Good
she's
with
pitching
makeup.
that to Trey, who like you see Raya, literally like he picked out her outfit for like their last date or something. You know what I mean? Like he likes that. Like he wants her to I don't know, it's just Lisa was just I don't want to be disappointed at like our black girls of the cast, but I was actually very disappointed with her.
I was too. She showed
Yeah,
her ass. She showed her
yeah.
ass. And to
And
your point, oh god.
oh no, I was gonna go to the like the actual pregnancy thing.
Oh my gosh, yes. Talk about it.
I think it was a little weird that she did it on TV.
I mean, there has been a lot of speculation that
That it's fake.
I mean, I don't like to speculate in that way personally because it's like
Ah,
that's
say
so
really?
that's such a big thing to lie about, you know what I mean? But like I'm very interested to see at the reunion if she actually
Are they
had the
on the
baby.
reunion?
I don't know. I don't know. I would have to
Oh,
look. But like I would like to check back in with them because I'm sure that they're on some NDAs where they can't like expose
yeah.
if not right now, or else we would have definitely heard yay or nay. But it was just the timing was too good. The worst of the worst I could think of is just that okay, she knew within herself she said a couple times she wanted to leave this experiment. So like last ditch effort, let me just see if I'm pregnant. And then like she happened to be. That would be my hope of what happened. But
That's
if she really lied and like instead, I don't know, did something, I would not put it past her because she was giving a little, not off, because I hate that we all have very low moments, but she was giving a little crazy in the sense that she would force something like that. Like she would, it was giving trapped vibes, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah. Like you like even when she told what's his name?
Brian.
Ryan. Was it
No, Brian.
Ryan? Ryan. He didn't even seem excited.
I think that he first was like, I don't know what type of reaction you're supposed to have, but he got himself together. I don't know what Brian though. Like Brian has a good like face,
Yeah.
you
He knows how
know.
to hold his but that nigga was online.
I want to see if he was that would be good
He
to
has
look
to
up.
be green.
He has
Cause
the
that
green.
dissemblance, I was like, what's wrong?
Strong with this. There's a for the audience who don't know. There's like these concepts in Greek life, like about dissemblance and composure. Like you're really not supposed to show how you truly feel when you're online and pledging for like a fraternity or sorority. And yeah, you're right. Brian was giving strong dissemblance, not just with her, but also with Ryan. I do want to talk about the conversation if you remember it with where it was one of their last dates where they were talking about finances and Ryan was like, I like she was like, I would just expect my man to like, pay for the mortgage and the bills. Sorry, but I would take care of like the groceries and the electricity bill, and pay for my own like, other things like my clothes and stuff. He was like, oh, so you like to pay for your own. She was like, yeah, I like to. She's like, if my my quote is if the card doesn't decline, like I'm fine. And he's like, oh, so you like to run it up? It's like, Brian, you can't say that. But she was like, yeah. He was like, well, at least you're not running up, your spouse's credit. Like that's on your card, right? Not the joint one. She was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was I think that was at the moment that Brian was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, I don't really know this girl. I'm really attracted to her, but I don't know if I would be
Yeah,
okay
like
with
I can
that."
have anything long term with her.
Yeah, so I can't even tell if that was even going to work out. That's why I was like, Raya, I just don't know where you're at, but Raya's age definitely, it's not even just age, but just like you said, the stage in life that she's in, where she's
Yeah.
still trying to find herself. She's still like, hasn't really broken out, lived on her own, maybe had a couple trips and falls and like made up for that at the back end. Like there's still some maturity there that I don't really think that she's ready for anybody. But man, Brian, yeah, he's in it to win. I mean, do you think that he's gonna marry Lisa? Like it's a done deal.
No, I don't think so. Because I think once his family sees what how she acted, I think I don't know.
Yeah.
I like why I don't know. I
But
think
now
embarrassment, black men when it comes to embarrassment, absolutely not. I don't think so. I don't think so.
we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, okay. So that was the first major thing that happened. We definitely have to talk about the second major thing that happened because there's I think the last two were just what happened with Antonio, Roxanne, Alex, and
Yeah.
Kat, and
Yeah.
then what happened between Jeremy and Ryan. So first, let's talk about Roxanne and Antonio. In your opinion, Monty, did you agree with Alex that Roxanne shows a history of speaking disrespectfully about Antonio?
Yes. I was like, what is happening? And I was like, girl, why are you fighting this when we can watch it? We can't watch that season. Like, what are you doing?
Roll the tapes, babes. Roll the tapes. Like,
Shut it down. Like, what? Like, I was just like, and like, I don't know. She like kind of scared me in the beginning because she just kept like complimenting Alex and comparing Alex to Antonio. And I was like, babe, like, you're gonna see, like, Antonio's gonna watch this and see this. Like, you're fucking the money up. Like, I don't,
bro,
and to like gaslight, like, clearly she got in trouble.
yep. Didn't own it.
No. And, like, I didn't really see Alex as, like, a liar, so I had a hard time.
Well, I mean, so I think that there were things that Roxanne said that I definitely agree with when it comes to Alex. One, that he doesn't want like a hugely challenging sort of person, like very
Yeah,
stubborn, very bombastic. Like he that's not his steez. But also too, I think both. I mean, anybody who prides themselves on being a workaholic or whatever, like working, 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 they both at certain points in times were like calling each other out for like, oh, like you pride yourself to be a workaholic, but you took a nap, or you
yeah,
didn't do this, or you didn't like clean, you didn't cook, and it's uh, like, well, yeah, because all you really value was working,
working.
like if you don't, and I say this as a person where I'm still trying to figure that sort of balance out of life as well too, but I don't pride myself on like, oh, like it's because like I have to work that I'm not able to do these things. I understand that that's a lack within me,
Yeah,
like I need to take more naps. I need to, well, sorry, not more naps. I take enough naps. I need to like be better at like making myself dinner, like, taking care of myself outside of work and taking care of the home outside of work. So to your point about her, I felt like Alex was just a caricature and an archetype to her that she really like. It's this fantasy, ultimately, at the end of the day, like power couple fantasy. Like,
yeah,
we're both able to be ambitious, ambitious, ambitious at our jobs. But I've definitely seen with those power couple relationships, if you both are so focused on
your
your
career.
careers,
Yeah,
there's still going to be a lack somewhere, and that's not something to be proud of. That's something to be aware of and
yeah,
okay with, if y'all both really want that, because you can't call him out for like being this, sorry, you can't be really excited that he's a workaholic, so ambitious, but then be mad that like he doesn't cook or clean. Like,
exactly. At your beck and call. Like, you're not gonna tell somebody just to clean when you want to. Like, that's crazy.
it was
I
like,
also think that this situation highlighted the reasons why Roxanne does love Antonio,
yes,
which like she doesn't really talk about, but like clearly you saw that like he just automatically knew. Like, if she said come over, he came. You know what I mean? Like, he was just always there, and like I
the
think,
stable force. Yeah.
yeah, and like they were just able to feed in each other's delusion, and I think that's love.
Well,
Like that scene on the couch where they're just like, Alex, like they're both just like just talking all this shit about, and I think he's in the condo too. Like I think he's there.
I think
It's just
so, but
like,
it was so, but Marty, this is, it's like, is that love or is that just gaslighting? Because you're, and I agree with Kat where she was like, you're projecting your problems onto us. I completely agree. Why would Alex's mom care about
that was so weird.
destroying your relationship? Antonio was delusional. He puts um Roxanne's opinion up on such a high pedestal that he's not
Yeah.
able to call her out, like, and say, hey, like, why would anybody make this up? Maybe Alex would make this up if he actually wanted to be with you, maybe, but the fact that it's his mother saying this, that means that you're talking in this way.
Yeah.
to really anybody, which he'll see, and which I wonder if he'll reflect on, or if he'll just think that everybody is. It literally gave delusional. I completely agree with you that Roxanne, the way that she framed a lot of Antonio's faults was just was just not okay. Like it came with like a lack of empathy in the sense of where he might have come from, why he might have been going through that, or even if it was just due to mental health, depression,
Yeah,
like the lack of agency she had, sorry, the amount of agency that she had when it came to sticking by him and wanting to support him. It was funny, Dell actually, that was my boyfriend, sent me this clip, which I feel like we've talked about before, of Michelle Obama, where she's like talking on the couch to other black women, saying like, yeah, a relationship is never going to be 50-50.
50-50. Yeah.
There, and he reminded me this. I didn't remember. She said there might be 10 years
Yeah, they
of
were 10 years.
bad, or like somebody contributing more to a relationship, but I'd rather take those 10 years versus the 30 good ones. And it's like, whoa. She just makes it feel like, a relationship is a lot longer than I personally sometimes might think of it. And I know like we Bonnie and I both have parents that are still together and married,
Yeah.
but even that can feel a lot separate than sometimes the relationships that we're currently interacting with or in. Like sometimes things can feel so in the moment, so small. But like Roxanne, you were there when he was not at his best. Why can't that be a good thing, to the both of you versus like it seeming, but then again, it's like if you didn't want that, walk away.
Yeah,
Walk
like
away. Like you don't
it's
have to
so
have that.
easy.
To if you don't want that, then you can go. Like no one's holding you here. So I just hated that she was like, "Baby, I never said that." Maybe like they're wrong. They're trying to turn us against each other. It's like, so this is the cycle that you all are on, and that you all will continue to be on until you address first if you actually want to be with this man, and then two, the way that you actually, because when she was with Alex, it seemed like she was getting to like what she thought that she really wanted this man to
Exactly.
be.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to, I'm real bringing around the rosy here, but then she had also said, I've been with men like Alex and they weren't able to give me what I wanted. How did you feel about that piece? Like that she had been with guys and like they hadn't been able, like Alex, but she still wasn't satisfied with them either.
I think I think she I think she does need somebody like Antonio, but also think that Antonio's just a nice person. Like I feel like she like when she made that comment, like most guys who are like super like Alex are like super ticker and are an asshole. So like why would you want to be with that? You know what I mean?
I completely agree. And this is where, because I saw so much of like a shadow of myself within Roxanne, in the sense of like just even in that dynamic. I say to you, one of my favorite quotes right now is pick a struggle. You're gonna
Yeah,
struggle somewhere. So what is it gonna be? If you're gonna be with like the ambitious workaholic, like empire builder, then like know that there's going to be lack in other areas and be okay with that. Okay. If you're gonna be with somebody like Antonio that might be able to give a lot more emotionally, which is not necessarily a big strength of yours, Roxanne,
yeah,
then it could probably balance you. You can learn from him in that sense. Then know that he might not be like career girl boss sort of
exactly.
mentality. Like
Yeah,
pick a struggle and move forward with it and work on it. Like that doesn't mean that it has to stay there, but maybe y'all can come to more of a compromise if you're willing to address it. And another thing I wanted to ask is, I mean, it's a conversation to say, but, like, why can't women provide? Like, be providers, like, be the person, like, that's, the breadwinner, like, that's something that you obviously pride yourself on. Like,
yeah.
this is your personality trait that
No,
you feel.
she's doing it. She is the bread. Like you're literally living it.
So it's like, why? I'm a need any woman that is that in their household or in their relationship and seems to have a problem with it, to really sit with themselves and be like, is this something because you genuinely don't want, you're not comfortable with being the breadwinner for XYZ reason or not, because that's okay. If you want somebody else to be the breadwinner, understand what that will come with and that you might need to walk away from your relationship. But is this something that you're putting on yourself or that society is putting
Yeah.
on you?
Yeah.
Because it's like if you're just embarrassed about that, then it's like that needs some unpacking. And it's like, I don't know. I just, it doesn't quite line up with the way she sees herself. She prides on herself being a girl boss. So like, be a boss
Yeah, and
and
keep
own
pushing.
it. Like I was telling Hunter April like in this other conversation that like I found this book in the library one day that was like how to be the best stay at home dad. And it was like I didn't pick it up. I really want to read it, but it's like Antonio gives me sometimes those vibes. Like he would
Yeah,
probably be just a really great
a
caretaker.
phenomenal parent.
But
A phenomenal parent.
he's already kind of a parent to Roxanne. So it's
Yeah.
like I just I think that there's there's this ideal of masculinity that Antonio even brought up when it came to him and Alex's conversation that like, you know, if you there's a way that society sees masculinity, but there's so many other ways that you can show up as a man that Antonio, I felt like he was calling out that Alex doesn't necessarily do to Kat from an emotional or romantic perspective. Antonio's a lover. Like he is a lover at the end of the day. And that is okay for like that is a strong male archetype that you can be and stand in, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Any last thoughts as it pertains to like that big blow up with Roxanne and Antonio?
I'm just excited to see like their reactions during the reunion.
Yeah,
Like
me
I want to
too.
know if like is Antonio gonna wake up or like are they still gonna be delusional?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll make our predictions at the end of this. But last major piece to recap, which will probably not take as long, is just like the Jer is I want to call his name Jeremy. I want to call him Johnny. The James and Ryan back and forth as it pertains to his PTSD from his parents, his mother, and really his father. Like, excuse me, I don't know about you, but seemed like that wasn't the first time that they had that sort of 4 to 5 hour middle of the night like argument off
Yeah.
of something really small. I just don't like what are your thoughts like about that? Like would you have stayed?
He no, he blows me. He gives me like you know those men that like just think whenever they talk it's like a fucking proverb. Like it's like a like oh I have so much wisdom and like I'm just so introspective. And it's just like all right, stop talking to me as if you're trying to teach me a lesson like about
Not
life.
mansplaining.
Like and I feel like Ryan her patience comes from understanding that this is a hurt man that's been through trauma.
Yeah.
But like it was just like irritating. I would have left. I would have not had that conversation with him. I just think that like he just needs therapy. Like no partner can fix him, you
Not at
know?
all. Not at all. And like
Sorry.
it was just the range of emotions that happened within those hours. Like first he was talking to her all types of crazy, like when you're doing this with your hands, like
Yeah, I was
that really okay.
like, don't act like you're the only person that's ever had trauma.
But also it's like if you recognize that you're triggered by something, you can't control somebody else. You need to remove yourself from that situation. Like I'm not gonna say like even being in a relationship right now, there's certain things that my partner might do that like that make my emotions like get to the top of my throat. And I understand that is very much a me thing and not a him thing. Like, and when that happens, I say to myself, okay, I need to pause so I don't take this out on you, and I just need to kind of walk away for a second. Like let me walk away, and then I'll be able to gather my words so we can talk about the why. Like I felt the way that I did, but instead, it's like he immediately went to blame like this like you need to make yourself more accommodating to me, like you need to change yourself, like to fit my boundaries. And it's like, she's not your therapist. She's not your angel. She's not your fairy godmother that's going to be
Yeah,
able to fix your shit. And then it's like, it just went through this whole cycle where she was like, "I'm not gonna deal with this anymore." So I felt like I felt so bad when she said, "Sometimes I feel like I don't have enough to be able to give to you," and it's
yeah,
like I felt that like
yeah,
you're never going to have enough to be able to fix how this man feels about himself and about you, and like then when she was in bed and he was like trying to like, I hated how him and I felt like Brian kind of did this at one point in time too with Lisa. I just don't like when people try to like physically hold me like down when I don't want to
yeah,
be touched. And
yeah,
with Brian, like he was like, please don't go. And it was like, I'm gonna need you to back up, sir.
yeah, yeah.
Like, you are obviously like having a moment, and I have to sleep here. This is my bed. Although if she had another place to go, I would have just gone there. But like, I'm gonna need you to just give me my space. Like I'd rather us like be in the same place, not talking, not interacting, versus you keep trying to fix this because she said it. We went hours and hours, and what resolution did we have?
Yeah. Ryan's too smart. She's too smart for that man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's just too emotionally mature, and that's not to say James, if he ever comes across this, like I'm not telling him to like he's not good enough for somebody like
Oh yeah,
Ryan,
absolutely not.
but like you are in your own way and you're not like anybody dealing with any sort of trauma, mental health um issues, anything like that, you're never going to be able to deal with it just by yourself. You actively have to seek support outside of like your loved ones, you know,
Yeah,
like actual it's so much easier said than done, but yeah, it just that moment then just made me feel like, you know, Ryan, just say no. Like,
I know. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah. But I feel like
maybe
she's also at that point where like she's been with him for 7 years, so she's trying to stick it out. So it's worth something. But yeah,
yeah. So I guess
I
we've
just
gotten to the point. Oh, God. What are you gonna say?
mm,
Oh, I thought I said something. I guess we got to the point in this episode where we're gonna really just say like who do we think, if anybody, like what are your predictions for the season finale? Who do you think will actually stay together? Let's first start with James and Ryan. Yay, nay.
I think he's gonna propose. Do they get to watch the series? No, they don't, right?
No, but not
I
before the
think
proposals.
yeah, I think he's gonna propose. She's gonna say yes, but I feel like at the reunion they're not gonna be together.
Okay. I could see them proposing, saying yes, and them still being together.
Really?
Um, just because I think that I hopefully this whole process has forced James to realize like that he could lose Ryan.
Yeah.
I think that was already number one. I don't think he really thought that at first, but
Yeah.
when he saw how well she got along with Trey and how much they had in common and things like that could happen the next day and the next day and the next day. So I think
Yeah.
he will be motivated to get and seek help for himself. And I really hope he does because I do think that like that would be a shame to lose out on those 7 years. But if they ultimately did walk away, I don't think that would necessarily be bad because
Yeah, I agree.
y'all haven't explored anything outside of yourselves. Like he was like saying it was the worst year of my life when I cheated on her. I'm like, maybe that was you saying that you weren't done really figuring out if she was the
Yeah.
one you wanted to be with. Like, yeah, I just but I the only difference I'd say to you is that I think they'll still be together. Because Ryan's like, what's
She's
she?
loyal.
Yeah, she's just a loyal ass girl. So that's that. Lisa and Brian.
I don't know. I don't think I don't think so. I think that's just gonna be his baby mama.
All right, I can see that too. I really hope that Brian walks away. Like I hope that he's able to like recognize you there's nothing that's going to be able to like make you understand like what your insecurities or anything on. Like we weren't even able to remember he was like, I think we should finish this experiment out. And she was like, no, 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 I don't want to. But like if she hasn't just like learned you can't treat people like that just to get like the ultimate thing that you want at the end of the day. Yeah, I feel like Brian, you don't have to stay. There's a lot of blended families that will do just fine, even if you do have a child. But I don't I think that they would have at least tried. I don't think they would have
Yeah,
gotten married, but I think they would have at least tried.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
See, Kat and Alex.
No,
I hope not.
I don't think he's proposing.
I don't think he's proposing either. And I think Kat just needs to be that girl and walk away. It was interesting because Alex's mother, I think she really respects Kat.
Yeah,
Uh, and you can obviously see there's like a lot of kinship there. But yeah, I just don't think that Alex holds Kat to enough value
yeah,
to be like, oh, I don't want to lose her. So I agree with you. I don't think they're going to be together.
yeah.
Um, Antonio and Roxanne.
That's a hard one. I don't think. I don't know. That's like a 50-50. Like, I do think he's going to propose.
Oh yeah,
She's
that's
going to say
fine.
yes, but I don't know if they'll. I
They'll
feel
still
like
be
if.
together.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like what's going to happen is he's going to propose. She's going to feel guilted and forced into saying yes. Because even like the previews to it, I was like, she does not seem. She was giving what's her face from Queer Love, um, not Melanie Maul. Yeah, no, not
Well,
Maul. Who's Maul's partner?
oh my God, what's her name?
The one who was with Xander.
Yeah,
She was like so hesitant to say yes to her ex or to her. I forgot her name. I think her name was Maul. Um, I think that's what Roxanne is giving, like a tearful yes because she just really wants to say no, but
yeah.
forcing herself to say yes because she feels like it's the right thing to do. I pray to God I don't. That would just be like the worst thing to me to like get engaged under that sort of circumstance where
Oh,
it's like
it's horrible.
you feel like you have to say yes. Like, yeah, just it's very. But I do agree with you. Like, well, sorry, I don't know if you're saying this, but Antonio, I think he's gonna watch back these tapes and
Yeah,
be forced to 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 have to see how Roxanne has felt and has been feeling about him, and hopefully walk away and not be together by the reunion.
yeah, yeah.
Because he doesn't deserve that. That's just point blank period. So yeah, and then oh, by the way, Antonio is 30. Roxanne's
No
31.
fucking way. Wow, he
I
looks
thought he
great
was
for
younger.
30-year-old.
He does. He looks young.
He looks like a
But
child.
the last is Trey and Raya.
Trey is definitely proposing, but Rise could say no.
Hope she does. I literally wrote down here, Raya don't like Trey. Like that's what I literally wrote down because I was like,
But I don't, okay, I don't think that's her fault though. Like, I think she likes Trey. She understands that, like, I think Raya's a lot smarter than what she's giving. I think Raya understands that, like, peeps what we said. Like, she knows that Trey doesn't really care about who she is as a person. She knows that. But, like, she's battling with what society shoves down our throats. Like, oh, you
yes.
have a good man, you got to keep him.
It was so I loved that. That's why I really do love this season because I felt like each and every couple demonstrated the highs and lows of different types of relationship
Yeah.
dynamic. Like I completely like whereas with Roxanne and Antonio, it seems like she's has this will they won't they when it comes to being the breadwinner or not in their relationship. you have Trey and Ryan where you have the very traditional, piece, but that doesn't make it all the better,
Yeah,
like that can sometimes be stifling when you get married very, very young and like don't get that chance to truly explore. So it's like it's very I felt like it was very well rounded in the
yeah.
stories told. Shout out to the casting directors. I wish we could have seen Lisa and Brian, but we'll see. We'll see if our predictions are true
When does it come out?
this Wednesday.
Okay. Oh,
This
that's lit.
I know. I'm very excited. Please make sure to stay tuned for the finale and the reunion that, like I said, premieres Wednesday, August 30th. 2023, we'll be back with another recap after that finale to see how the fallout goes from this season. Before we wrap things up, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Hot Nerd Network. We want to hear all your thoughts and predictions about the ultimatum down in the comments below. Yeah, any last thoughts, Bonnie?
Woo! No,
oh,
I'm very proud of you, Sid, for doing this. But yeah, I can't wait to see the finale.
yeah,
I think we're pretty right on with our predictions. So
yeah.
I feel like if anything, I can't wait to see their self reflection, like all the cats during the finale. I think that's what I'm more excited about.
Yes, and I have to mention this. It's a very quick aside, but I would encourage, and maybe I'll link it down below for people to watch Tiffany's like um after show press, particularly on Rob Has a Podcast channel, because one thing that I don't think they mentioned, but they do have a lot of resources when it comes to mental health therapy throughout and even after that. I don't think a lot of the other love shows have, for example, Love Island. And she said that no matter what, this was the most life changing experience for her because of the way they kind of walk them through, like there's a lot of counseling that we don't see that even the couples go through
Yeah, I didn't even
outside.
know. I didn't
I
know
didn't
that.
either. So I completely agree with you. The reason why I bring this because like I completely agree with you because of the self reflection. Because I don't think any other experiment in their lives would have made them self reflect in this
Yeah,
way, whether they end up with each other or not. So I do like the ultimatum as a show concept.
it is. It is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. But
Wait,
thank you, Bonnie. Oh, go ahead.
send
Is
that
it?
to me, like the
I
video.
will. I'll
Yeah.
send it to you. I'll send it to you now. But yes, thank you for being here for your hot
Yay.
takes. And yeah, have a great day, y'all. Bye.